Hello and welcome to the class for Adobe After Effects DAR 250 for Wednesday, August 19th. I'm going to go ahead and open the waiting room so everybody can get in. Hello.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Oh man, you thought you escaped me?
Oh no,
You thought you
Kim.
were free?
No, I've already had my Kim allotment this year.
And now there's more.
Hi, Kim.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. Oh, I don't have my glasses. Oh well, you know what? It's fine.
It's good to
All
see
right,
you
there
again.
we go.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Got last second Starbucks.
Oh, good. I got my tea already. Hi, Greg. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Well, this is my official first Zoom session.
Yay!
Hey.
I'm so honored.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoom works pretty well. I mean,
Okay, good.
the issues are more like, how sucky is your internet connection,
Right.
which, happens to all of us. But, well, welcome you guys to the Adobe After Effects class.
Hi.
Um,
I am
I'm,
really
I'm,
having to do very simple, helpful hints here.
uh,
So I am just really, and put your face there so people can see you and see your expression.
okay.
It's really bad to just put that photo there. There you go. Thank you.
I thought the video looked nice, but whatever.
No, it doesn't. Thank you.
Hey, Spike,
Get this thing
Hello.
off you.
how you doing?
Good.
Uh, I'm sure you're very appreciative of the helpful hand there. Um, okay, well, um, what I'm going to do, I see that a number of you guys are adding the class through video. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my attendance sheet, and then I'll start checking the attendance, and we'll see who all is here. So let me go ahead and go into my attendance sheet here. Let's see, that's going to be under employees, teach. Okay, and then attendance. Okay, and After Effects. All right, so I guess I'll just read off your names here, and if you are in fact here, maybe just unmute your microphone and make some sort of noise. So Daniel Carrion?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Jaden? Jaden, are you here? Okay. There we go. Okay, no Jaden. Joseph Coleman?
Here.
Okay, hi Joseph.
Hello.
Let's see, Sophia, I don't know if you're here or not.
Hi.
Oh, hi. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I actually have a couple questions for you later.
Okay.
About the class.
Okay, we can do that.
Kind of situation, but yeah.
Cool. Nice to see you. Spike, you're here. Alex Hernandez?
Here.
Okay, Luz?
It's loose.
It's Luz?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Hi, Luz. Let's see. Courtney? Jameson?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
All right. By the way, I'll tell you guys right now, if you go by a different name than the one on the roll sheet, just let me know. I'm keeping a little list here. So like I'm gonna put down, let's see, I'm gonna put down the first one for today, which will be, let's see, After Effects. I want to make sure I pronounce your names correctly too. So I'm taking little notes about that. Okay. So Cecilia,
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
yeah, you go by CC or?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's see. I'm just gonna write that down. Okay, Cecilia is CC. Okay. And then Christopher Lee, you go by Chris or?
Chris, yeah.
Okay. And Kaleo, are you here?
Yep.
Hi,
I'm
Kaleo.
here.
All right. How you doing?
Good.
Is that your pandemic beard?
Yep.
I know I had one too. I shaved it off this morning. It was like David Letterman size, you know. How about you, Kim? Did you grow a pandemic beard?
Nah, I couldn't even start one. But I've been growing out the hair on my head.
Okay, that counts. I guess it counts.
It's something at least. It's not going to last much longer.
Oh, you're gonna go for the haircut?
6 o'clock today.
Woo! All right, can't wait. Jacob Martinez, are you here?
Yep. Here.
Okay. Gabriel Michael, I know you're here. Isaac Moreno.
Here.
Hi, Isaac. Rachel, no.
Here.
Okay. Hi. Let's see. Jackson Powell.
I'm here.
Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Uriel Purcell.
Here.
Gabriel Ramos Terrazon. Okay. Laura Rincon.
Here.
Okay. Hello, Laura.
Hi.
Kevin Rodriguez. Rodney Scott. Okay. Kim is
Here.
here.
Rodney's here.
Oh, hi, Rodney. Your room is very green.
It's because of the dim light screen over it. But
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, there you go. Like when you put your hand up, it changed color.
that's what's up.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So just
It's
the whole class, you don't mind like just holding your hand like this, right?
all right. Nice to see you again.
Okay, thanks, Rodney. Renee, I saw you just jumped in, right? Renee Valenzuela. I see a Renee in here with a little microphone, but I don't hear anything. Oh, hi. Okay, you're chatting. Okay, cool. Thanks. And then Abigail. Abigail, are you here? We're going to take that as a no. And Jonathan Young. Okay, no. All right, so seems like most of you guys are here. There's a couple strays out there somewhere running around, and hopefully they'll jump in at some point. All right, let me open up my screen here. Okay.
They got lost on the way over.
Right, they got lost in the digital malaise.
Couldn't find the classroom.
Well, they're wandering around the virtual halls of Pima right now. Okay, well, hello and welcome. This is DAR 250 After Effects. And I think the thing I'd like to do first, because I know you guys have adored this process since third grade, is have everybody introduce themselves. And I'll give you some prompts. You can say who you are, and you can say any of the following stuff. You don't have to say all of it, but you can say, you know, why you're taking this class, what you hope to get out of it. You can tell us a little bit about yourself, you know, if you grew up here, if you have hobbies you want to share. And you can also tell us where you're headed, you know, like what kind of job you want to get, you know, and that this degree or class will help you with. So I'm going to start with Kim because I know Kim.
How could you? How could you out me like this? I'm not prepared.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm not
I
interesting.
don't think anyone's prepared.
Because we're shining the spotlight on Kim. It's a 1,000-watt bulb, and I know that Kim can handle it. Go ahead, Kim. Tell us about yourself.
You think I can handle things? That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as he said, I'm Kim. I'm an animation major. I'm gonna make cartoons. I have A, B, and D planned out. Graduate high school, graduate college, make cartoons. That's it. No in between. I'm just gonna walk out of class and make cartoons. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say.
I don't know, but I like your plan. I like the
Thank
fact
you.
you have a really clear plan. Okay, and Kim and I just had a class together over the summer, and she did a great job, and she's a very talented artist.
Gonna say he got like a whole week break from me, and then I'm right back in his class.
I know, it's exciting. Okay, now I'm going to go up to the top list. Daniel, Daniel, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your last name right. Is it Carrion or Carrion?
Carrion. It's actually Carrion with the strong R.
Okay,
Yeah, but you can just Carrion.
I'm not good.
Yeah.
I'm not good at rolling the R's, but I'm going to try it. Carrion, something like that.
Carrion.
Carrion.
You
Yeah,
have to
Carrion.
do
Okay.
the-
I'm just going to murder it all semester long until my R's
Oh,
get.
no, go for it. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard at first, so you have to get used to the R.
Can you say it one more time for me? Say your last name.
Carrion. Carrion.
Carrion.
Daniel Carrion.
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 Okay. I'll practice. I'll work. I'm trying to get better at saying Spanish names. Okay. So Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Daniel. I'm from Mexico City, and I'm on the program for film and animation. So that's something I would like to do. I'm currently doing graphic design work, so that's something I really enjoy doing. And then that's it.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's about me. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it. Okay, let's jump down here to Joseph Coleman. Mr. Coleman.
Hi, I'm Joey. My major's fashion design, but I wanna be a good graphic designer. Pretty good with Photoshop and Illustrator, so I was like, well, might as well learn like all the Creative Cloud, so I can just not have to pay anybody else to do my work for me and just get it done myself. So
Yeah, do all your fashion videos and everything.
exactly, editing whatever I need to get done.
So I'm a big fan of Project Runway, which means that I know a lot about fashion. I think in another life, I would like to be a fashion designer. I find that stuff fascinating.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm more into like utilitarian like fashion, so like making things that like are used in several different ways, like turning like pants into bags, like stuff that can be used in different ways. I don't know, stuff
That's
like that.
cool. Will we get to see some of your stuff this semester?
Oh yeah, whenever you want to see it, I can show you it.
Awesome.
Are we gonna have show and tell like we did last class?
Maybe, I don't know. It depends. We'll survey the class and see if they're up for it.
Or like a fashion show.
Yeah, everybody has to show their latest fashion trend. Mine is wearing only one sock. Okay.
Okay, let's see what horrible costume I have this time.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Do you go by Joe or
Joey.
yes? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write Joe down for Joseph.
I said Joey.
Am I muted?
No, what did you say?
Joey.
Joey. I'm sorry, I misheard you.
Oh, it's okay.
For Joseph. Okay, there we go. Got that. Next victim is Sophia. Sophia. Are you there? You're like, I'm right in the middle of eating. Please don't disturb me during my meal.
Perfect timing.
Sorry.
I just put this giant bite in my mouth. I can tell you about Sophia. Sophia's a super talented artist who took 2 classes with me last semester, and then we got hit by the virus, and then that was it. It was all over.
It's over for all of us.
I'm not good with online classes. I know my weaknesses. What
Okay.
can I say?
Right. Well, fortunately, you just have to do the rest of the work, so you don't.
Okay. That's what I was wondering about. I'm like, am I retaking the whole class, or am I just doing the assignments and then just kind of like fading out?
Hey, if you
Yeah.
saved all the old assignments, you can just turn them in again.
There you go. Well, yeah, so Sophia took my class last semester, and the virus kind of screwed everything up. So she's technically taken again, but all she's really doing is finishing the work from last semester. So
Okay.
Yeah, the incomplete grade, right?
yeah, the incomplete, right?
Yeah, I had to do that last semester, Sophia. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You get to learn all again.
I got lucky too. My classes just dropped off the face of the earth, but I passed them,
That's the best kind.
right?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Sophia. Spike, do you want to tell us anything about yourself, or? Where are you, Spike?
Sure, yeah. I'm studying game development, game design. Although now that I think about it, I feel like I started creating videos just out of boredom. So this might help with that as well.
Okay.
And that's the extent of me.
That's it. That's the bio so far, right? Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'm sure we'll get to see some of your video work, which I'm excited about. It'll be fun to see. And of course, game design, that's awesome. I love game design. Okay, let's go down here to Alex Hernandez.
Hey, I'm
Hey.
Alex.
Hi.
I'm pretty much doing every graphic design course I can at Pima, just
Okay.
to see what I enjoy doing the most. And that's about it.
So you know you want to be in the graphic arts and you're just trying to find the one that really speaks to you?
Yeah.
That's a good plan. I told you, I went to Pima and the U of A, and I did a little bit of that myself over at the U of A, and I found some really cool classes that ended up pushing me in a certain direction. So I think it's a good plan. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Alex. So Luz, can you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm loose. I was looking forward to learning more about software engineering, but also taking this class to see if it'll open like my interest to graphic design. So
Okay, cool. So you have like sort of left brain, right brain kind of, you want to satisfy the technical learning and also the artistic stuff? Cool. All right, awesome. And so are you studying software engineering right now?
well, I'm barely starting college, so
Oh, okay. That's just kind of where you want to go.
yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. All right, thank you so much. All right, let's go to Courtney Jameson.
Hello, I'm an engineering major at ASU and taking my electives at Pima. If you hear any screeching in the background, I have 2 kids and they're noisy sometimes.
Okay, screeching. All right, I'll make a note. Screeching is no screeching allowed. Okay, and are you're here in Tucson?
Yeah, in Sarita.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, and what do you want to do with all your training that you're getting in your schooling?
I want to do just a general engineering of all sciences, since I've looked at like applications for things and most of it just requires a STEM degree.
Oh, cool. Okay, so just get that degree and then go into whatever you want to, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Courtney. Let's go down next to Cece.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, well, of course, no one could see me right now, but that's because my laptop has been kind of funny. It won't display anything on the screen itself, so I had to connect it to a monitor. So,
Oh,
yeah, but it can still do stuff. And I'm already familiar with their Adobe products, and I wanted to learn more about, especially After Effects, because it works pretty well. I don't know, either for fun, maybe for a career. I mean, right now I'm getting into psychology, but if that doesn't work out, I'm thinking about animation.
okay. So, wow, a lot of different interests, right? Psychology, animation, things like that, After Effects. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Cecilia. And then let's go down here to Christopher Lee.
Yeah, Chris is fine.
Okay.
I work part-time as a restaurant manager, and I'm at Pima trying to get my associates in business, and I want to transfer to the U of A this spring. I don't really do much apart from that. I'm taking animation because I just think it's a good skill to have. I'm really interested in graphic design. But yep.
Okay, so you're focusing on business, but you also have kind of a love of graphic design that you want to explore.
Yeah.
Cool. What restaurant do you work at?
It's kind of by downtown campus. It's called Walk Fire and Grill on Speedway Park.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Have to try and make it down there. Okay, thank you, Chris. Let's go ahead and look at Kaleo. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Kaleo. I'm studying animation stuff. I'm looking forward to practicing some of the things I learned in the last animation class, digital animation.
Okay.
And yeah,
That's about it.
yeah.
End of story. Okay, cool. Well, I know you're a good animator, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you'll do in this class.
Thank you.
Let's see, Jacob Martinez.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'm going into computer engineering, and it is required to take an arts class. So I decided to take this for After Effects. I have some knowledge on it, and I find it interesting because I do have some friends who are actually going into graphic design and all that, and they always flex on me. So I'm taking this so I can flex on them as well.
It's all about the flexing.
Yeah.
And what do you want to do with your computer engineering?
I have an uncle who works at Intel, and he's on the engineering team. And he says as soon as I get out of college from computer engineering, I can join his team.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's so
it's always
great.
been a dream of mine ever since I was a kid.
Nepotism rules. Yeah, no, that's great. I'm happy for you. I think that's fantastic.
It'll be fun.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jacob. And let's see, Gabriel Michael.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Is my mic on?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the digital film program, and I took Greg's audio class, and I was amazed at how intimidated I was by audio and how well I felt that I was able to learn in that class. And I'm totally intimidated by animation After Effects. I can't even draw a stick figure. So, but I'm realizing that with film, I'm definitely going to have to learn After Effects, because even the intros and just basic little things require so much now. And I'm 47, so I'm kind of done with the rat race. I want to become an independent filmmaker and go the entrepreneur route.
Cool. That's awesome. It's great you know what you want to do and that you're pursuing it, one class at a time. So, well, hopefully we can make this class as effective as the audio class, and you'll get into it and really enjoy this program. It's a great program. I think you'll really like it.
Well, thanks. I watched a lot of tutorials, and they do some good, but not really explaining in the way that it does in a class. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Gabriel. Laura Rincon.
Hi, I'm Laura Rincon, and I'm from Colombia.
Hi.
My program is digital arts, but I want to take more animation classes. Well, basically, my plan is transfer to the U of A. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. And how long have you been in America?
Almost 3 years.
What do you think of America?
It is good. Yeah, it's different.
Right. Good answer. Sorry to put you on the spot there. It's
Yeah.
different. It's definitely different.
And the language, of course.
Do you get to go back to Colombia much?
No, I just went last year in December.
Okay. Yeah. What's Colombia like?
Well, what can I say?
Right.
And we are fun people, and we celebrate everything. And I don't know, we're nice people.
Okay.
So if you want, you can visit Colombia.
Okay. Got it. All right. Thank you, Laura. Let's see. Let's go down here next. We got Rodney Scott. Mr. Rodney.
Yep, that's me. I am currently going for a game design and applied science degree at Pima College. I like to do this for fun, animation, really for a lot of spoofing ideas that I have with me and my friends. And I think I would really do it for fun mostly, but if I consider myself good, then I would probably go for a position later in the day.
Okay, so but your preference would be game design?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
because 3D modeling, and that's what I originally did in all the classes, and I pretty much do on my spare time because I work part time. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Thank you, Rodney.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple of people who might have snuck in while we were doing this. So I'm going to read off a couple names, and if you're here, let me know. Jonathan Young, Abigail Witchers, okay, Kevin Rodriguez, Gabriel Ramos Terrazon. Okay, and finally, Jaden Casillas.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're here, Jaden? Okay,
Yeah.
you just want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Jaden, and right now I'm pursuing an engineering degree, but
Okay.
I saw this class and I had a friend who took it and he said it was pretty fun, so I thought I'd try it out myself.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you so much. Okay, great. Well, I'll give you the 2-second spiel on me as well. My name is Greg Lameau, and you're welcome to call me whatever you feel comfortable with. You can call me Greg or Professor Lameau or whatever you like. It's completely up to you. I'm comfortable with any of them. I grew up here in Tucson and went to Pima College and the U of A. I got a fine arts degree at the U of A and started my own multimedia business. And then eventually I started teaching through my business, which led me to a position teaching at Pima. So now I've been teaching at Pima for a little over 10 years, and I'm full-time faculty in the arts department. And I also continue to run that multimedia business on my own on the side. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I am going to take over your screen. Yay, I like that. Okay, so just so you know what's going to happen, when I click the share screen button, like your whole screen is going to get eaten up by my screen, and all you have to do is hit your escape button and it will take it out of full screen mode, and then you can shrink the screen down to the size that you need it to be on your system. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen so I can share the class website with you, and so we can go through what we're going to talk about today. So here we go. So let me go ahead and click this link, share screen, and share. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen right now. Like I said, you can hit your escape button if it's like all consuming, right? And as you know, this class, everything about this class I'm going to put on my website here, which is located at pima.dreamco.com, DREAMCO. That's the name of my business. And so this is where I built the website for my classes. Now, some of you who are taking online classes or classes that have a virtual component, you're probably used to all your class information being in D2L. Well, my background is as a web designer, so it's easier for me to build a website than to use somebody else's. So the only thing for this class that you're going to see in D2L are your grades. Those I have to put in D2L. Everything else is going to be here. So every week I'm going to make a post in this After Effects section of the website. And what you do is you go to pima.dreamco.com, you click on this After Effects link over here on the left, and it will bring up the latest post, right? And this is going to have everything that you need. It's going to have the assignments, it's going to have links, it's going to have deadlines, you name it, it's going to be here. Including a link to join the class, which many of you probably clicked on today. The other thing that's going to be here is I'm recording every single one of these Zoom classes, and those recordings will be posted here as well. So if you miss a class or part of a class, you can check it out. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, it's probably a question that's on many of your minds, is about this whole hybrid thing, right? Now, this is officially a hybrid class, which means that about half the class is going to be online and the other half will be in person, right? Now, some of you who I've talked to before about have special circumstances for this class, so you don't have to worry about this. But the vast majority of you are going to be attending this class virtually 1 week and then coming to school physically the next week. But the people who come to school, we're going to take the class and we're going to divide it up into 2 sections. The sort of yellow section and the green section, and each one of you will come on a different day. So let me explain how this works. I'm going to bring up a little calendar here. Let's see. Oh, I think it's going to be this one. Yeah, okay. So this explains sort of how the hybrid class works. I'm trying to open this up a little bit for you guys here. Okay. So I'm going to save this under a new name. This is the one I did for my last class, but this is DAR 250 After Effects. Okay, so if you see this calendar, the calendar has different colors on it, and this is the little key that tells you what the colors mean. Orange means that the entire department is meeting virtually, right? And so what that means is, here's today's date, August 19th. For the first week and a half of school, everybody in our department is going to meet virtually online, right? So that means today's class and then the classes next Monday and Wednesday are going to be online. After that, the week of the 31st, you guys will physically come to class, and then the week of the 7th, you guys will be back to being online. So that's what a hybrid is, 1 week online and 1 week physically at the school. Now, of course, the reason for this is the COVID virus. They're trying to minimize the interaction that you guys all have with other people while still giving you the advantage of being in person with your instructors so that you can ask questions and get the answers you need. Now, what's going to happen, though, is we're going to take the week that you guys, every other week you're going to meet physically at school, right? But because they want to do social distancing, we're going to take the total class and split it in half, and half of you are going to meet on Monday, and half of you are going to meet on Wednesday. That's the way that they're doing the social distancing. Like, let's say there's 22 people in this class. Well, if you put 22 people in a classroom at Pima, they're going to be too close to each other. But if you put 11 people in a classroom, you can spread them out so there's at least 6 foot of distance between them, and make sure that they're safer, right? So that's why they're doing it this way. So what that means is I need to make a list right now of people that will be coming in on Monday, because that's going to be half the class when we meet physically, and also people who will be coming in on Wednesday, okay? And so what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to delete these names that are in here for the last class, and then I'm going to start putting your names in either on Monday or Wednesday. Now, I'm going to give you guys the choice, as long as I am able, to pick either Monday or Wednesday. But if, like, all of you pick Monday, I'm going to have to put half of you on Wednesday. That's just the way it goes. So what I'm going to do is pull up my attendance on one half of this screen, if I can find it. I'm one of those guys that has like 30 million tabs open. Okay, here we go. There we go.
I think you need more tabs open.
I think you're right, Kim. Can you somehow remotely do that for me?
You want to give me control for like 5 minutes? I can open up a million tabs.
No, I don't want to give you control for 1 minute. Okay.
30 seconds.
Not even. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to read off your names, and you say Monday or Wednesday, and that'll be the day that you come in, right? So, Daniel, do you want to be a Monday or Wednesday guy? You there, Daniel? Is your microphone on?
There you go. Sorry, it was unmuted. So I want to be Monday, please.
You got it, Daniel. Jaden?
I'll be Wednesday.
I have a quick question while you're typing out their name. So say I have another class that's exactly 15 minutes after your class. Is the entire school doing it like the way that you're doing it?
Yep.
So
Well,
theoretically, I could get Monday for both days.
right. And
Okay.
and let me tell you this. Let me tell you this so that you understand it. We're gonna put a preliminary list together right now, and then you guys
Okay.
you can check in with your other classes, and then if we need to make a switch, we can. Now,
Okay.
I will tell you one other thing. Whatever day you pick, you're gonna be on that day for the entire semester, and you can't
Okay.
switch. You're not allowed to switch.
What? No switchies.
No switchies. No cutbacks. Okay. So then we have Joseph. What day do you want to be?
I'll go Monday.
Joey is Monday. Okay. And then we've got, well, Sophia, you don't care. Are you going to come in at all, Sophia? Are you there? We don't know.
Yeah, yeah. If I really need to, I'd probably come in on like a Wednesday.
On which day?
On Wednesday.
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to put your name down because you're going to need to be on this list in order to get in. So I'm going to
Yeah.
put your name on Wednesday. Spike, are you a Monday or Wednesday guy?
I'm like trying to think about it. I actually had a class just before this one, about an hour. It ended up maybe like a little less than an hour before this one that was just online. But I have it on both Monday and Wednesday, so I'm still trying to think of like scheduling wise.
Well, how about I'll put you down for Monday and then we can just check in next week and see.
Okay.
Okay. Alex, are you
Monday works for me.
Luz?
I'll do Wednesday.
Got it. Courtney?
Monday.
Okay. Cece?
Monday.
Chris?
Monday works for me.
Kaleo?
Monday.
Jacob?
I'll take Wednesday.
Gabriel, Michael, okay. Isaac?
Mine might be the same situation. I don't know if I'll be there, but if I have to choose, then I'll do Wednesday.
Rachel?
I'll do Wednesday if possible.
Jackson?
Wednesday.
Okay. Uriel?
I'll take a Wednesday.
Let's see. Laura?
I will say Wednesday.
All right. Rodney?
I like a Wednesday.
Kim?
I have absolutely no clue. So I'm just going to say Monday. Yeah, Monday. Let's do Mondays. Might as well start the week doing something I hate.
Right. Renee?
Huh?
I'll do Monday.
Let's see. And I think that everybody, did I miss anybody? Okay. So let me go back to that PDF here. Okay, let me save this one on the desktop, and we'll call it DAR 250 Arts Division. Okay, so like I said, I'll check in with you guys next week. to make sure that these are the days that are going to work for you, because we are going to be stuck with those days all semester. Okay, let's.
So I can email you about what my almost funky situation is, right?
Yeah, like if you're like, hey, Greg, I found out Wednesday's a better day for me, then email me that and we'll figure it out. I'll write it down.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So one of the questions people have for me is how are they going to turn in work? And the way we're going to turn in work is through Google Drive. So what I'd like you guys to do with me right now is go into your MyPima account, make a Google Drive folder and share it with me. And I'll go ahead and do it with you in case you haven't done this before. So basically, go to pima.edu and log in. Click on the MyPima link at the top. Log in. It should take you to a page that looks something like this one that's coming up. And then my screen looks a little different than yours. I think you guys can just click on Student Docs and get to where you want to go. If you just scroll down, I have to go to, you can also go to your Gmail and then click on this little waffle here. This is how I get there. I go to my Gmail and click on this little thing that looks like a waffle, and then I click on the Drive icon. Okay, and then that will take you into your Google Drive. Now what you have to do after that is there's a button up here called New, and you have to click on that and then click on Folder. And it's going to pop up a dialog box to make a new folder. Go ahead and call this DAR250 and then put your name on there. And then hit the little blue Create button. Okay, so it's going to make the folder and it's going to highlight it in your list, right? Well, what you need to do then is on a PC, you can right click on that folder and click the word Share. On a Macintosh, you have to hold down the Control button on your keyboard and then click, and then go to the share link. Now in the share link, what you want to do is you want to type my email address, which is this right here. I'll type it in so you guys can see it. It's this right here underneath this line. You want to type it in this line though. You want to type G as in Greg. I don't know why it keeps putting Patty's in there. It's so annoying. So it's gjlumeau@pima.edu. So it's right here on my screen. I'm not going to try to type it because it always brings up something else. But G, then J as in Joseph, LOUMEAU@pima.edu. Go ahead and enter my email address in there and click the blue Done button. And what that'll do, that'll mean both just you and I have access to your folder. And that will allow you to put assignments in your Google Drive, and then I can see them and give you, feedback and all that. So go ahead and do that. Hit that little Done button, and then you'll be good.
Oh, Greg?
Yeah.
What if we already have one? Do we use the same one from last time or make a new one?
I think.
Yeah, I was about to ask that too.
I would say, that's a good question. Well, so you guys are just finishing up the work from last semester?
Yeah.
You guys can use your original folders if you prefer. Okay. All right. And
Do you
so,
want us to email you when we turn it in, just, cover our bases?
oh yeah, that's a good idea. Sure.
All
Okay. Okay, so now you guys have shared your folder with me, and I'll get a little email about that, and then I can look at your cool stuff. Okay, the next thing I have to do, I have to go over the syllabus, and 95% of it is the same as all your other syllabi, so I'm just literally going to ignore that stuff. You can look at it on your own, but you've probably heard it a million times, so you probably won't. But let me just tell you the stuff that's pertinent to this class. So I'm going to go up here, the class website. I'm going to click on this link called Syllabi, and I'm going to come down here under Syllabi for Fall 2020 and click on After Effects. It's going to download this syllabus as a PDF. And this is it, right? And like I said, 95% of it is all stuff that's on, it's a template, so it's on every single syllabus you get. So I'm not going to go into all these links at the end. I'm not going to talk about, student learning policies and stuff like that. I'm just going to talk about what's specific to this class. So this class is DAR 250 After Effects, and it meets Monday and Wednesday, 12:45 to 3 p.m., right? Now, just so you know, this class, there's going to be like a virtual version of this class every single time it meets. So in other words, let's say that you picked Monday as your meeting day. So the first week we meet online, Monday and Wednesday, right? The second week, I forget if I said you were a Monday or Wednesday person. Okay, I'm saying you're a Monday person now, whatever I said before. You're a Monday person. So first week we meet virtual. Second week, you come in Monday and you're there physically in the class, but then on Wednesday, you're joining the class virtually, right? Now what that means is every single time I teach, I'm going to have Zoom turned on. So like on Monday, when you come into the class, I'm going to be sitting there at a computer teaching you guys, but Zoom is going to be on so the people who are at home can see what's going on and be part of the class. So that means one way to think about this is it is a virtual class every single time we meet, but every 2 weeks you're going to come in once and physically be there, and that's the time when I can help you with specific questions or show you how to do stuff or whatever help you need, right? Okay. And by the way, all the classes are being recorded, and I'm going to put the videos on the class website so you can check them out if you need to. All right, my contact information is here. If you need to get a hold of me, the best way is through my email, and you can email me anytime. The course information that this describes, what you're going to be taught in the class, and basically it's how to use the After Effects program. There is actually a textbook for this class, and it's called Adobe After Effects CC Classroom in a Book 2020 release. And let me just go to Amazon real quick and show you what the book looks like. So let's see, Amazon. And of course, you can get this anywhere you want. You don't have to get it on Amazon. Let's see, here it is. This bad boy right here, Adobe After Effects Classroom in a Book. If you're into electronic versions of books, you can save a little money. There's a Kindle version here for $34. And then
Why is it so expensive?
I don't know. Somebody's getting rich on this, and it's not me. Let's make it clear. I'm not the one getting rich. Yeah, so you can buy this Kindle version. You might be able to find used versions out there on the internet, or maybe even sometimes Amazon has used versions, so you can look into that. And of course, you're welcome to shop around. Like right here, you can see Amazon paperback. It costs $56, but there's 12 new from $50.48. And so here's one for $46 plus $3.99 shipping. So you can always shop around. Just be careful. Make sure the people you buy from are reputable, because there's a lot of scammers out there. Okay, so that's the textbook. I got to go back to the syllabus here.
Is it the same book from last semester as well?
Well, I think it changed from 2019 to 2020. But most of the lessons will be similar.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we need the book every time when we come into class?
I would bring the book with you when you come into class, because sometimes we'll be talking about the lessons, and then it'd be good to have the book. And sometimes I'll give you time in class to work on the lessons, so you want to have that book with you.
Okay.
Okay. Other things that you'll need are like a flash drive or a portable hard drive. You might want to have some headphones that you bring in so you can, listen to videos or listen to music or whatever you need to do. Student learning outcomes, I'm skipping over this stuff because it's just, basically you're going to learn the program. I'm going to go down here to the grade calculation. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about. So grade calculation is 80% of the grade is your assignments that you turn in. That includes both the homework and the projects that I give you. 10% is class participation, which just means you show up to class, you ask questions, you're part of the class basically. And 10% is something called a presentation, which I will get to very shortly. I'm just going to go ahead and finish off this syllabus, and then we'll talk about the presentation. So everything else here is very generic. Late work policy. If you turn in work late, you get docked a grade, right? Attendance is required. There's links here to student resources and access and disability resources. So feel free to look at this syllabus anytime you like. It's on the website, and let me know if you have any questions. Now, one other thing, when we do physically meet on campus, we're going to meet in this classroom right here, CG09, which is, if you go into the main building at Pima, the Santa Catalina building, you go in the glass doors, and I think it's like the third class on the right. So that's CG09. Okay, any questions from you guys about the syllabus? Okay, all right, good, because yeah, the syllabus is like pulling teeth. It's like the worst part of the class, but we're done with it, so thank God. Okay, now I told you I would talk to you guys about the presentations. So what the presentations are, we're legally required to do something every single week where everybody in the class participates. And we can give you guys tests, but instead of tests, it's more fun to do what's called an industry presentation. And what that is you just talk for 5 minutes about something related to this industry, digital industry. It can be related to video, it can be related to animation, it can be related to software, anything that is sort of touched upon by, After Effects. And here on the class website, if you go to the presentations tab up here, there's a little link, FAQ, how to do your presentation, and that will link to a PDF. And the PDF tells you kind of how the presentations work. So your presentation can be like 5 to 10 minutes long, right? You get to pick the topic, and it can be anything that you want that somehow relates to what we're studying. After Effects, video, it can be music related, digital related, you pick, right? You can use the program Google Slides, which is part of your Pima Google account, to make your presentation, or you can use something like PowerPoint. Most people just make a slideshow and then talk about the subject matter as the slides go by. What should it be about now? After Effects is an animation program, but like I said, you can talk about any aspect, music, video, film. But you can talk about new technologies. You can talk about the history of animation or video. You can talk about how After Effects was used to make a specific movie like Iron Man, or how it's used to make cartoons like Archer. You can talk about techniques that get used, famous people who've used After Effects, and so on and so forth. Now, when is your presentation due? Well, after class, really gets up and running here, I'll post a list of everybody's name and a date throughout the next 4 months, and the date that I post will be the day your presentation's due. If you have a conflict with that, we can change the date. You're going to go ahead and put your presentation in your folder, and then you can just double click on it and share it with the class. You're welcome to use notes during your presentation. Of course, you are doing the presentation for the class. You can either do it in front of the class, which I'm sure you all want to do, or if you're somebody with stage fright, which is probably most of us, you could even do it online if you so choose. Now, I'll give you an example here of what this is going to look like. So on this page that says presentations, I'm going to put a new link here that says Fall 2020. There's going to be a little thing here that says After Effects, and then there's going to be a list of names and dates, right? And so you can see some names here and some dates, and that's how you're going to know what day yours is due. And I'll let you know when that list is posted so that you can check it out. Okay, any questions about the presentation? Okay, all right, you guys. So we've been in class for about an hour now, and I want to give you guys a little chance to get a break and grab a bite to eat or get a drink or use the restroom, whatever you need to do. So why don't we go ahead and take a little 10-minute break, and then when we come back, we'll start looking at the actual program itself and all the stuff that it can do. Okay, sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, and if you have a question for me, you want to stick around, please feel free to do that. Okay, hello again. I'm back. I know that some of you are away from your computers getting a drink or something, so I know you guys all filter back in eventually. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out by talking about Adobe software and how you guys can get a hold of that to use for the classes if you don't own it already. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again.
Hey, Greg, can I ask you a question before you actually start?
Yeah, please be my guest.
So I want to ask you, like, I was wondering about how the class is going to be. Let's say I go Monday. So Wednesday, it means that I'm not going to have that class, or how
Yeah,
is it
so
actually going to work?
yeah, so Wednesday you would tune into the class via Zoom.
Oh, okay, so you're going to still transmit the class through Zoom on Wednesday.
Yeah, so in other words, I'm going to transmit the class every single time it meets via Zoom. It's just that, you know, over a 2-week period, 3 of your classes will be completely virtual, and 1 of them you'll actually be there in person when we're having the class.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you're welcome. Just want to make sure I have everything up here so we can see everything. Okay, so what I want to talk to you guys about was Adobe software. So some of you have the Adobe Suite, which is all the programs you need to do, you know, all the stuff in the digital arts program, and some of you do not. Now, if you're somebody who does not have the suite, Pima is giving you access to the suite of programs during the semester. So as long as you're taking this class with Pima, you can have access to the Adobe software.
Oh, how do we access that? Or is there?
Yeah, let me go ahead and show you. So if you go on your web browser to adobe.com, then up in the upper right-hand corner somewhere, there should be a sign-in link. And what you want to do is, if you do not have an account with Adobe yet, you want to click on this little blue create an account button. Okay? And that's going to take you to this page. Now, what's important here is, if you want to use the free software that Pima has licensed, you have to log in with your Pima email address. Okay? So, for example, I would log in with, you know, GJ Lumeau. You're signing up for an account right now, right? So you sign up for an account, you put in your Pima email address. Oh, I put in the wrong one, of course.
So what if we already have an account, but can we make another one on our Pima account?
Well, okay. So
and it would,
yes.
Would it contradict?
Yeah. So let's say that you already have an Adobe account and it's connected to your personal email address, right? You can make a second account using your Pima email address. And that Pima email address account will allow you to access all the Adobe software for this semester. So you can use it in whatever classes. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of you that want to use the free Pima software, go to Adobe, click on sign in, click on create an account, make a new account where you use your Pima email address, and go ahead and fill out all this junk here and click create account. Okay? Now, it's just going to be your email address. You're going to put in a password. You can use whatever password you want. You can use the same password you use with Pima if you want. you're going to put in your date of birth to make sure you're, old enough to legally use the software and where you're located, and then you're going to click create account. Now, what happens is I already have an account, so I can't create a new one, but if I go sign in, after you make your account, when you go to sign in at Adobe, you're going to get this little prompt here. And it's going to say, do you want to use your personal account or do you want to use the company or school account? Well, you want to click on company or school account because that's what's going to allow you to use the free Pima software, right? So you click on company or school account. Then it normally just has you log into, if you're not logged into Pima's website, it has you log into that, and then you're good to go, right? Now, once you're logged in, you can go to any of these apps. You can click the apps button up here, and then you can click on any program and just download it. So you can click on Photoshop and download it, or Illustrator, or of course, the one that we want to get is After Effects, right? And, after you've downloaded it, if there's updates available, you can download those as well. You can click on these 3 buttons to see, what your options are, right? But there's a whole bunch of programs in here. You can download whichever one of them you need, and you should be good to go. Now, of course, if you have your own personal Adobe account, you can use that, whatever works for you. Okay, any questions about the Adobe accounts?
Yeah, Greg, I've got a question. When we turn in the work, are we turning it into like as an MP4 format, or are we sharing something through the cloud?
So when you turn in the work, you're always turning in some sort of a video format.
Okay, good. Okay.
So it's usually going to be like MP4 or .mov,
Right.
on whether you're working on an Apple or a PC computer, right?
And then we just put it in our Google Drive and share it to you.
Yeah. So in other words, when you create your files, the After Effects files are like .ae or whatever, right? And that's a master After Effects file. And you're not going to turn that in because that's not going to have all the stuff it needs. What you're going to do is you're going to render that file. So you're going to convert it to a video, and then it's going to be like an MP4, and you're just going to upload that, which is good because it'll be smaller and faster to upload.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Okay. All right. So any other questions about Adobe or anything else? Okay. So let me go back to the class website. Go to After Effects. Okay. All right. So we've gotten through most of the sort of first day weirdness here where we have to talk about all this funky stuff. And now we're at a point where I can actually talk to you a little bit about the program itself. Now, some of you who have taken this class before, you've already seen these videos, but I'm going to show you a couple of videos that just show you the power of After Effects and a couple of different After Effects techniques that were used to produce these videos, just to give you a little flavor, a little taste of it. So let me start out here with this first one. Okay. Wow, what happened to Forrest? Oh, here it is. Okay. My computer's being a little weird, so here we go. All right, what do you guys think of that video?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, kind of cool, huh?
That was awesome.
That was tight. I always love videos
Pretty nice.
like that.
Now, does anybody know how they did that?
No clue.
A lot of pain.
They endured years of pain to make that 30-second video.
Yep.
A lot of layers.
Well, layers.
A lot of layers.
I can feel
Basically,
that.
basically, they just shot the same scene over and over again with them assuming different positions and layered them on top of each other, right? Sorry. I don't know
And
what
again, that's just Adobe. There's lots of layers.
yeah.
My computer on fire.
Okay, we're going to look at a second one here now. Has anybody ever heard of Stuxnet?
No, I haven't.
Nope.
So Stuxnet was the first computer virus that was used as an actual weapon. One of the first. And this was like 7 or 8 years ago. I don't remember exactly when they say in the video, but this video was made completely in After Effects, but it shows you the power of After Effects because they import 3D models and they have like diagrams, you know, things that were probably made in vector programs like Illustrator. They definitely have Photoshop pings. They have music. They have voiceover. This kind of shows you the whole shoot match of things that are possible to do in After Effects. And it's also a very effective way to communicate information. He's talking about something that a lot of people don't know about, but he's making it really, the guy who's doing the voiceover is making it really compelling by the narration and by the video itself. So we'll go ahead and watch this Stuxnet video.
In June last year, a computer virus called Stuxnet was discovered lurking in the databanks of power plants, traffic control systems, and factories around the world. 20 times more complex than any previous virus code, it had an array of capabilities. Among them, the ability to turn up the pressure inside nuclear reactors or switch off oil pipelines, and Stuxnet could tell the system operators everything was normal. Unlike most viruses, Stuxnet doesn't carry the usual forged security clearance that helps viruses burrow into systems. It actually had a real clearance, stolen from one of the most reputable computer technology companies in the world. It exploited security gaps that system creators are unaware of. These holes are known as 0 days, and the most successful viruses exploit them. The details of a 0 day can be sold on the black market for $100,000. Stuxnet took advantage of 20 0 days. But once it got into a system, it didn't always activate. Buried deep in the Stuxnet code was a specific target. Without that target, the virus remained dormant. What was it looking to shut down? The centrifuges that spin nuclear material at Iran's enrichment facilities. Stuxnet was a weapon, the first to be made entirely out of code. The Washington-based Institute for Science and International Security says the virus may have shut down 1,000 centrifuges at Natanz, Iran's main enrichment facility, last year. In November, the International Atomic Energy Agency, the UN's nuclear watchdog, said Iran had suspended work at its nuclear facilities without explaining why. Many observers credited Stuxnet. Last month, the Iranian government conceded the virus's infection of the Bashir nuclear facility, still under construction, meant that switching the plant on could lead to a national electricity blackout. Iran has responded to the attack with an open call for hackers to join the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and has reportedly amassed the second largest online army in the world. So who was behind Stuxnet? There's no evidence beyond rumor. Some have it that Israel is responsible because the virus code apparently contains references to the Hebrew Bible. Others believe the US was involved in the testing and development. The finger has even been pointed at Siemens mobile phone company, whose software is used by the Iranian regime. The most important question may not be who designed it, but who will redesign it. The evolution has been so fast that 9 months after its detection, the first virus that could crash power grids or destroy oil pipelines is available online for anyone to download and tinker with. You can watch people on YouTube pulling Stuxnet apart. It's an open source weapon, and there's no way of knowing who will use it or what they will use it for.
All right. What do you guys think? What did you think of that video?
Sounds
A
kind of
lot
like
of 3D layers.
What's that, Gabriel?
Oh no, go ahead.
Somebody else want to speak?
I had good colors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of design.
Yeah, I like the color.
Amount of work.
Yeah, it looks like like a whole team, right?
It was pretty amazing how they were able to. It looked like film, in a way. So it was pretty amazing, and the
It's
fact
very
that this.
fluid, like, or well, not really like stretchy fluid, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good editing with it and everything, but yeah, and this Zoom call might be worth $100,000 on the black market.
I wish.
Your time though.
Okay, so I got a few more to show you here. This next one is just kind of fun. Let's see. If I'm not sure, it looks like they changed. Huh. Well, the link used to be just right here on the page, and now it's just happening up at the top. Well, I'll just explain what it is. If you can see this graphic up at the top, this video that's playing, this used to come up in YouTube. Maybe if I click on it, let's see. No, it's not going to show for me. But anyway, I won't show it. But anyway, what happened was they videoed people having fun in an amusement park, riding rides. And then they dropped out the background of the amusement park and they put in footage of just the city. And now it looks like, if you see, it looks like the amusement park rides are happening right in front of these buildings, right? So you see there's the people coming up in front of the building. Right. So it's just cool. It's just kind of a fun idea. That probably took a lot of time, but just very cool. So, okay. Anyway, that's that one. It's just kind of a fun one. Here's another one. I think I'll just show you this Ira Glass. Oh, wait. No, here we go. I have to show you this one because I really dig it. Let's see. My computer seems to be like uber slow today, which is always fun. I think these are all After Effects examples, but there's one, this one in particular I want to show you.
Walt, I've said it before. If you are in danger, we go to the police. No, I don't want to hear about the police.
Let me show it on YouTube because it's being a little persnickety there. We might have to endure an ad.
Customized insurance, you gotta see to believe.
Walt, I've said it before. If you are in danger, we go to the police.
No, I don't want to hear about the police.
I do not say that lightly. I know what it could do to this family, but if it's the only real choice we have, if it's either that or you getting shot when you open your front door,
hear about the
you're
police.
not some hardened criminal, Walt. You are in over your head. That's what we tell them, and that's the truth.
That is not the truth.
Of course it is. A school teacher, cancer, desperate for money.
Okay, we're done here.
Roped into working, unable to even quit. You told me that yourself, Walt. Jesus, what was I thinking? Walt, please, let's both of us stop trying to justify this whole thing and admit you're in danger.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see? Do you know how much I make a year? I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Do you know what would happen if I suddenly decided to stop going into work? A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up. Disappears. It ceases to exist without me. No, you clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
All right, what do you guys think about that video?
That was pretty cool. What is kinetic topography?
So kinetic means movement, and typography, of course, is just text. So it means moving text.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was somebody took an audio recording of a very famous scene from Breaking Bad and decided to go ahead and animate to that audio. So they animated all the text, but they also included all these black and white graphics, right? Did anybody notice there was a specific change in there was one time where everything kind of did a change. Did anybody notice that? It was
Kind of.
yeah. So remember when the video started, there was a female voice talking, which is Walt's wife, Skylar. And while she was talking, there were black words on a white background. And as soon as she stopped talking and her husband, Walt, started talking, everything flipped and it was white text on a black background. So, and the animation style changed too, because she was very sort of desperate and, you know, trying to get him, trying to be persuasive. And he was very arrogant and sort of dangerous in his conversation. And so the graphics immediately switched. So it's a good illustration of some of the cool things you can do with, as you said, Gabriel, kinetic typography or moving text. Okay, we're going to watch one more. And this one is from Ira Glass.
Nobody tells people who are beginners. And I really wish somebody had told this to me, is that all of us who do creative work, like, you know, we get into it, and we get into it because we have good taste. But it's like there's a gap that for the first couple of years that you're making stuff, what you're making isn't so good. Okay, it's not that great. It's trying to be good. It has ambition to be good, but it's not quite that good. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, your taste is still killer, and your taste is good enough that you can tell that what you're making is kind of a disappointment to you. You know what I mean? A lot of people never get past that phase. A lot of people at that point, they quit. And the thing I would just like say to you with all my heart is that most everybody I know who does interesting creative work, they went through a phase of years where they had really good taste. They could tell what they were making wasn't as good as they wanted it to be. They knew it felt short. It didn't have this special thing that we wanted it to have. And the thing I would say to you is everybody goes through that. And for you to go through it, if you're going through it right now, if you're just getting out of that phase, you got to know it's totally normal. And the most important possible thing you could do is do a lot of work. Do a huge volume of work. Put yourself on a deadline so that every week or every month you know you're going to finish one story. Because it's only by actually going through a volume of work that you're actually going to catch up and close that gap. And the work you're making will be as good as your ambitions. In my case, like I took longer to figure out how to do this than anybody I've ever met. It takes a while. It's going to take you a while. It's normal to take a while, and you just have to fight your way through that. Okay?
Okay, so that's a little video that also uses kinetic typography. What did you guys think of that one?
That was pretty cool. It took what would be a normal monologue and made it to where it wasn't boring. You know, added some nice movement to it.
Right. Yeah. So what they did was they took the audio and they made it more impactful by animating the text, right? And they did different things. Like sometimes the text was small and sometimes it got bigger. And sometimes it moved off the screen and sometimes it moved right in front of you. And you know, they tried to interpret what he was saying, the audio of what he was saying. They tried to interpret it visually and therefore added more to the total presentation, because now there's the audio, there's the animation, and then there's whatever is created by the two of them working together. Okay, so I'm not going to show you any more of these. There's more you can look at on these links at your leisure if you like. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you After Effects, the program. And if some of you don't have it yet, that's okay. You can download it at your leisure. I'm also going to demo what the first project is going to be, and then I'm going to give you an assignment to start working on the first project. Now, some of you guys, most of you don't know the program yet, so you're going to have plenty of time to work on this first assignment. But I'm going to show you what it's going to be so that you can work towards getting the skills together you'll need to do it. So the first assignment is going to be to create kinetic typography, which is what we just saw some examples of. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a 30-second After Effects project that animates a quote, song lyric, or saying, right? So in other words, text. And then you can accompany that with whatever you want. You can put some music in the background. You could do what some of these people did. You can go get an audio snippet and animate text to that audio snippet. You can add sound effects, whatever you want to do. You can also add images and video if you want. And I'm going to go through a little demo here where I actually do that. And so that's going to be your first assignment. But what I'm going to ask you to do for next class is to go ahead and write up an idea, write an outline of what you think your first project is going to be. So you could just write a paragraph and just say, you know, my first assignment is going to be to make a 30-second, advertisement where I animate a quote by John F. Kennedy, and I put in a waving flag in the background and patriotic music to try and inspire people to be patriotic, right? You could write that up, just sketch out an idea, and then we'll take a look at those on Monday, and then we'll give you some feedback, and then you can go ahead and work on your project. And I'll give you these little deadlines to work on throughout the semester, you know, what the next thing is that you're going to do. So what I want to do now is I'm actually going to show you that example I just used about a JFK quote and everything. I'm actually going to do that right now in After Effects. Now, the files that I'm going to use, an American flag video for the background, the actual JFK quote, and some stirring music, they're all here on the website. And if you have After Effects and you want to open it up, you want to download these files, and you want to work along with me, you may, but you're not required to. I'm going to go ahead and show you this, and then you'll have this for reference. And of course, you can always come back and watch the video if you want to remember how I did things. So the first thing I'm going to do, when you make an After Effects project, you generally create a folder and put all of your assets in there, right? And the assets are everything you're going to use in the project, the videos, the music, text, logos, whatever, right? So I'll go to my desktop here, and I'll create a new folder, and I'll call it After Effects Demo. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll go download these 3 assets that I'm going to use for the video. So I'll click on this first one, the American flag video, and let's see. I'm not sure what it's doing. It didn't do anything, so let me try that link again. Okay, this time it's doing something. Okay, so by the way, when you need assets for this class, you can go to free websites that allow you to download graphics and video and music and other resources. Here's one called VidEasy, which allows you to download graphics, and in this case, a video. So I'm downloading a video of an American flag, which I'm going to use for the background. So I'll just save that. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and download my other 2 things that I want to use. So the JFK quote, I believe, is just a website that has the quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." Well, I can remember that, so I don't really need to download that text. And then finally, stirring music. On this web page, there's something called the President's March. And I'm going to go ahead and download that. sorry. I had to download the damn thing. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this video. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to put it in my folder that I just made. Now, it's really important that you make a folder first thing and then drop everything in there, because if you have junk all over your computer, After Effects won't be able to find the correct files for your project. So the first thing you always do is make a folder, and then you paste everything in there that you want to use. So now I've got the American flag and I've got the music inside that folder, right? Okay, the next thing you do is you start up the After Effects program, which, let's see, right here. Okay, now After Effects looks a lot like the other Adobe products. It's got, you know, the toolbar on the left, it's got the floating windows on the right. In this case, because it's an animation program, it has a big workspace in the center and then a timeline, like an animation timeline at the bottom. And then, of course, we have the drop-down panels and everything that you have in all your Adobe products. Now, when it first opens up, it's also going to have a screen where you can bring in, you can start, reopen projects you've started already. You can click a button to start a new project. And they also even have links in there to go to help screens and tutorials. So, you know, it's pretty much standard Adobe fare. Okay, so this is just taking a second to load up. There it is right there. And when it's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a brand new file, a blank file, and then I'm going to start importing my assets. And those assets are the video of the flag and the music. I'm going to import those into my file and then put together my project. Now in Adobe After Effects, files are called compositions. And of course, when you think of a composition, you might think of something like, you know, maybe that was the name that they gave to a paper that you wrote in high school, or maybe it was the name that you think of when you think of a giant musical piece or something, a composition. In After Effects, a composition is basically a project that has a bunch of different aspects to it. It's got a bunch of different assets that are sort of collaged together to make, you know, your project, right? Think of a music video and the fact that it has video and music and maybe animated text and special effects and all kinds of stuff, right? So that's what it is. It's called a composition. And inside this composition, you can put different layers of stuff, just like in Photoshop, right? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. This cache on a drive does not have enough available to safely store. Okay, whatever that is, I don't know. Okay. Wow, everything just kind of went black. I love this. Whenever you do a demo, everything is guaranteed to go wrong. So, you know, just know that. Okay. All right, so here we are. Here, I'm going to move the chat thing down. Here's what After Effects starts out with. They're like, you know, asking you a bunch of questions. You know, first they show you a demo of all the cool new things it can do, and you can click next and go through all of those. Then they bring up a screen where you can open existing projects or start a new project, and here's a list of all existing ones. You can go over here to this link and watch tutorials and learn more about After Effects. You can start a team project and so on and so forth, right? Now I'm just going to create new project, right, which is going to give me my blank screen here. Now let me go ahead and I'm going to, for a second, I'm going to minimize you guys so that we can see. I'll minimize the chat too. Oops, not maximize, but minimize. I'll minimize this chat window too so that we can see exactly what's going on here. So this is the After Effects interface. And so like I said, up here at the top are the drop-down menus. The toolbar, I'm sorry, in After Effects, instead of going down the left-hand side like Photoshop and Illustrator, it actually goes up along the top here. And everything's a little grayed out right now. You'll be able to see it once I make a new composition. This window here is called your project window, and this is where you're going to view all of your different assets that you're going to use for the project. Here is your composition window, which is where the main project is going to be viewed. These are your floating panels, and that's similar to other Adobe products. And then down here, you're going to see your timeline, and you're going to see your layers over here, right? Now, the first thing you do when you start up After Effects you know, you say you want to create a new project, is you have to make something called a new composition. So you could click this new composition button, and it would go ahead and make a new composition for you. Or you could say you want to make a new composition from footage, and footage would be something like a video. Now what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to choose this new composition from footage in just a second, because what it'll do is it'll make a composition which is exactly the size of the footage, and that saves me a lot of trouble, because then my movie is exactly the right size, right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import my assets into After Effects. So I'm going to come over here to the project window, and I'm going to double click on the project window, right? Then it's going to take me to my desktop. I'm going to go to that folder I made, which is called After Effects. And I'm going to click on the two items in there, the flag video and the marching music. And I'm going to hit open. Now, when I opened this, there was a little checkbox that said, you know, when you open this stuff, do you want to make a composition out of any video footage? And I just said yes. And so it automatically makes a composition, which is an After Effects file. It automatically gives it a duration, which is how long it is. And then all I have to do is click OK. And it automatically picks the video file, which it's going to use to make the composition. Now, I got this number wrong, by the way. I said 2 seconds. This is actually 2 minutes. This is time code right here. Or I'm sorry, let's see. No, it is 2 seconds. The zeros at the end here are frames, and these are seconds, minutes, and hours. So I was right, it is 2 seconds. So what I'm going to do is hit OK. And what's going to happen is it's going to make a brand new composition. Once again, a composition is just an After Effects file. And it's going to make that composition from my American flag footage, right? Now, right now, I can't really, the screen is just being filled with everything. I can't really see everything very well. So I can go ahead and change my, my view of my composition here. I can come down to the lower left-hand corner. I can click on this, and I can say fit, right? Now, fit will fit the whole composition in my composition window. Now, what you see is the composition in the center here. You see two layers over here, right? One is the music, which it just automatically threw on the bottom layer, and the other is the flag video, right? Now, down here, so these are the layers stacked over here on the left. Over on the right, this is the animation timeline. And if I grab this little playback head, I can drag it to the right, and you can see that basically all this is 2 seconds of a flag, you know, waving over and over again, right? Or it's just waving for 2 seconds, right? Now, underneath that, I have the music, and the music actually goes on for a while. If I want to know how long my composition is, I can click on Composition and go to Composition Settings. I can see that my my music here is actually 2 minutes and 57 seconds and 4 frames long. So rounding that up, my music is 3 minutes, but my flag is only 2 seconds, right? So that means that I'm going to have to probably loop this flag here so that it plays over and over again while my music is playing. Because if I hit the play button right now to play this, we're going to see 2 seconds of waving flag, we're going to hear some music, and then we're just going to have a bunch of music with no flag, right? Now I can play this by opening up this window called Preview and hitting the play button. Okay, it seems to be stuck on a little bit of a loop there, which is okay. So, and the reason it's doing that is because it has to render all this stuff, and you know my computer's got a lot of stuff on it right now. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, my goal for this is to do kinetic typography, which is to animate text. So really the sound and the background of the flag are just sort of extra gravy, you know, that I'm pouring on the presentation here. What the main focus is the text, right? And if you recall, the text is the JFK quote, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and add in a couple layers that have that text on it so I can then animate them, right? So you can see up here in the top left corner, now that I have a composition, my toolbar, which is horizontal, is highlighted, and I can choose from any of these tools. Well, I'm going to click on the T, which is sort of the universal symbol for a text tool. I'm going to come over here on my composition. I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag out what's called a text box. And then I'm just going to start typing, you know, ask not what your country can do for you, right? And then I'll just grab the edges of this text box and drag them over. Maybe I'll just drag them to the edges of the composition so that, you know, that's centered. And then maybe I'll take this text and make it yellow too, so it's easy to see. So I'll highlight the text. I'll click on this little box over here. This is the color box for the text. My color picker pops up. I'm going to choose yellow. And now I have some text that says, you know, ask not what your country can do for you, right? Now I'm going to take that and just position it up at the top. Oops, I got to take my caps lock off or it doesn't like that. Okay, so that's one piece of text that I'm going to animate. I'm going to basically have that come in from the side. Ask not what your country can do for you. Then I'm going to make a second piece of text, which is going to be the second part of the quote. You know, ask, oops, I got to turn my caps lock back on. Ask what you can do for your country. Now, when you guys do your project, you can pick any kind of quote or song lyric, or you can make something up, whatever you want. You just have to have some text to animate, right? So now I've made a new piece of text, ask what you can do for your country. I got to turn off my caps lock again. And then finally, I'm going to make a third and final text box, which is going to be, you know, John F. Kennedy. Let's see. Who is, you know, the person who is being quoted, right? Okay, now what you'll notice is every time I added a new text layer here, or every time I dragged out a new text box, it made a new text layer down here, just like in Photoshop, right? And it went ahead and named those whatever the text was that I typed. So that's very useful, right? Now, I'm going to do a very simple animation. I'm going to have this first text, you know, kind of come in from the left-hand side. Then I'm going to have this second text come in from the right-hand side, right? And finally, I'm going to have the JFK just kind of meld in from transparency to fully opaque, right? Now, in order to do that, I'm going to have to take these different elements and I'm going to have to like drag them off the screen, right? So this JFK thing over here, I don't want that showing up at the beginning of the movie. I don't want my ask what your country can do for you to show up at the beginning of the movie. So I'm going to drag both of those off of the screen here, right? Now this one, ask not what your country can do for you. I don't want that to show up at the beginning of the movie. I want it to be off, you know, over here where it's not really visible at the beginning of the movie, and then I want it to animate in, right? So once again, here's my plan. The movie starts, this text at the top animates in, then this text on the left animates in, and then the quote kind of, you know, just kind of fades in, right? All right, so here we are where we can actually start doing some kinetic animations or some kinetic typography, right? Now, in order to animate this layer right here, this is, you know, ask not what your country can do for you. I have to open this layer by clicking on this little thing called a disclosure triangle. It's this little arrow here. If I click on that, it opens up and it says text and transform, right? And I can open up my text and I get all kinds of different options for the text, but it's really the transform that is of interest to me. The transform opens up what are called transformation controls. And these allow you to animate. And these are very common words here that we associate with, you know, movement and animation. Scale, which means making things bigger or smaller. Position, which means moving things from one place to another. Anchor point, which means, you know, the point at which something is rotating around. Rotation, which is the actual rotation. And then opacity, which is how transparent or opaque something is, right? Now, for this animation, I'm actually going to do something really easy. I'm just going to move this text from its position off the screen to a position on the screen, right? So the first thing I have to think about is how long do I want it to take for this text to animate onto the screen, right? Well, I can grab my little cursor here, which is my, this is my little playback head, and I can say, let's say that I wanted to take 3 seconds for this text to fully be on the screen. So I can take my playback head and I can look at these blue numbers over here, and I can try and get it to be exactly 3 seconds, which would be 300, right? Or even easier, I can just highlight this text and type in 300, and then the cursor, the playback head, automatically goes to 3 seconds, right? Okay, now it's at this point that I want my text to be fully in, right? So what I can do is I can come down under this text layer, and under the transform options, I can click down here on this, this layer called position. I can click on this little icon to the left of position. It looks like a stopwatch. I click on that, and what happens is I've just set something called a keyframe, and that's this little, I'll move this so you can see it. There's a little blue diamond down here, which is the keyframe. Now the keyframe, it indicates, you know, that something will exist at this point in time, right? And that something is going to be this text. So now I can click on this text block over here. I can click on it, and I can move it over to where I want it to be at 3 seconds, right? Now I moved it down from the top down, so the animation is actually going to move. It's going to follow my path. So what I have to do is at 3 seconds, I put the stuff where I want it to be at 3 seconds, right? Then I grab my playback head and I go back to 0. And now I grab my text and I hold my shift key down and I move this text all the way over to the left off the edge of the screen, right? Now what's going to happen is, well, it looks like it kind of jacked up on me there. Let me go back a little bit. I'm going to undo all this. Let me take this text here, which is located here. Let me bring it down here to where I want it to start, kind of. Okay, so it's going to start there at 3 seconds. It's going to be here. Yeah, it's still doing this crazy thing. Okay, and then at 0, yeah, it's not playing nice because whenever you do a demo, nothing ever works. But okay, let's see. Let me see what happens. Okay, so it's a little wonky, but it's doing what I want, which is over a period of 3 seconds. It's starting off screen over here on the left, and then by the time 3 seconds passes, it is fully on the screen. So like I said, it's a little wonky, but it's working, so we'll just leave it, right? Now, the second thing I want to do is I want to take the second piece of text, which is this one right here, and I'm going to move that down like here. And I want to do the same thing. I want this to animate on, so I'm going to open up that disclosure triangle, open up transform. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click to make a position keyframe, which is this blue diamond, which is where this thing is at 3 seconds, or at 0 seconds, right? Now, by 3 seconds, this thing has come fully onto the screen, right? So if I go up to 3 seconds here, by going 300, I can make another keyframe by clicking on this empty diamond here. And all that's doing is it's saying that, you know, at 0, when the movie starts, this thing is off to the right, right? At 3 seconds, by the time this other text is in, this thing is still over off on the right. But at 3 seconds, after this one is completely in, I want this one to start animating in. Okay, so now I'm going to say I want this one to take 3 seconds on its own. So now I'm going to go down to put in 600, which is 6 seconds. I'm going to grab this little text here, and I'm going to simply grab it and drag it over. Sorry, it scaled up on me a little bit there. Let me try again. I'm simply going to drag it over while holding my shift key down to keep it in a straight line. to where it wants to go. Now this one didn't jack up like the last one, probably because I set my position keyframe when it was over here off on the left at the beginning of the movie. And so now this one is going to come in from 3 to 6 seconds. So what we're going to have is 0 to 3 seconds, the top text comes in. 3 to 6 seconds, the bottom text comes in, right? And then at the very end, we want the JFK quote to fade in. Now for the JFK quote, I'm going to take this, or just the name JFK, which says, you know, who gave the quote. I'm going to put it on the stage, you know, at 0 seconds, right? But I'm going to change its transparency. I'm going to make it so that if I open the disclosure triangle and open transform, I can click on the stopwatch next to opacity, which sets a keyframe, and I can click on this 100 and I can drag my cursor to the left and set the transparency of that, or the opacity of it, to 0, which means we can't see it, right? Now I'm going to go down to 6 seconds, which is 600. Okay, I'm going to set a keyframe by clicking on this empty diamond here. And then now I'm going to go down to 9 seconds. And this will make sense in a second, 900. And I'm going to set a new keyframe. And at that keyframe, I'm going to make it 100% visible. So basically what's happened is this John F. Kennedy text is completely transparent at the beginning of the movie. It's completely transparent at 6 seconds. But between 6 and 9 seconds, it goes from being completely transparent to completely visible, right? Now I do have one issue, which is the text that I said was kind of jacked up at the top. It looks like after it animates in here, it looks like it does something weird where it just kind of jumps off the screen. Let me see what's happening with this. So I just have to fix this little problem. So let's see, at 3 seconds, okay, so here we have the text coming out like that, right? Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to stay there. And you know, I'll be honest, it's this piece of text just turned out to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So I think what I'm going to do is just delete that and just retype it, because it's so much easier to start from scratch. So I'll go back to 0. I'll make a new text box here and type once again, ask not what your country can do for you, okay? And now this time I'm going to go ahead and set the keyframe, the starting keyframe, where this thing is going to start. So in other words, I'll now click on my black arrow tool up here. I'll click on this, I'll hold my shift key down, and I'll simply move this thing over off the screen until you can't see it anymore. Okay, now on that layer right there, I'm going to click on position, click on the stopwatch to set a position keyframe at 0. I'm going to type in 300 to go to 3 seconds. And at that point, I'm going to click on this text. I'm going to hold my shift key down and I'm going to drag it onto the screen. Okay, and now it's going to do what it's supposed to. It's going to stay there. So now I fixed my problem. So now, you know, you start the video, the flag is waving, the music is playing. Over 3 seconds, this text comes out, right? And then it stays there because I haven't told it to do anything else. Over the next 3 seconds, the second block of text comes out, right? And then over the next 3 seconds, that John F. Kennedy starts to fade in, right? And of course, it all has to happen really quickly because I only have like 2 seconds of flag video here, right? Now let me go ahead and play this. It's probably going to be a little jumpy, but let's see how it looks. Yeah, it's kind of doing this crazy loop thing, which is no fun. Let me see if I can get it to render. Let's see. So to render this composition, let's see. Add to render queue. Okay, and we're gonna output it to American flag, 4K movie on the desktop, and I'm just gonna say save, and then I'm just gonna do render. We're gonna see how this works. So what you can see, this is what rendering is. This is how you turn your finished project into an actual movie. So what happens is you simply go composition, add to render queue. It brings up this render queue. You simply say where you want to save it and then hit the render button, and it goes ahead and does it for you. Now you can see that my computer has a really heavy load on it right now. I've got a bunch of programs open, and so it's moving really slow. It's rendering really slow. But you can see what it's doing. It's going through every frame of the movie. It's doing the animation of the flag. It is animating the text in that first line of text. It's recording the audio, you know, the sound, the marching sound, the patriotic sound. Now it's bringing in the second animation, which is this text coming over from the right. And then finally what it's going to do is it's going to show the John F. Kennedy kind of fading in at the bottom, right? And then when this is done rendering, we'll be able to, you know, watch this video. Okay, so there's the John F. Kennedy fading in, right? Okay, now, unfortunately, okay, I made a mistake here. It's rendering in 4K, which means it's going to take like 22 minutes for it to render. So we're not going to wait for that. I'm just going to go ahead and hit stop. But I'm hoping that you guys got the idea of how I put these different elements together. Okay, so let me go back to the class itself here, and I will answer any questions that you guys have. So what questions do you guys have about this little demo that I did, if any?
I've got a question. Could you show again how you got to the rendering part at the end? I was writing something down and I missed it.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So what I did was, after I had completed my animation, I went to composition, add to render queue. It changed the bottom of my screen to this thing called a render queue. And then all I have to do is click on this blue text, which says output to, and choose what file name I want, you know, and where I want it to save. It's automatically going to pick a movie format to save in, you know, because I have a Mac, it's going to save in MOV. Yours may save in MP4 if you're on a PC or something like that. So all I do is choose a name and where I'm going to save it, and then all I have to do is click this render button and it will render. Now, unfortunately, I picked this this 4K video, which is why I want to take 22 minutes to render. I can show you guys tricks to compress the video so that it will get much smaller and render much quicker. Okay,
I
other
have a quick question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So like in Premiere, when I can go to sequence, render sequence into out. That's pretty much the same thing we're doing with the composition going to a render queue, is allowing it to render it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then before I render or export, do I need to hit an out, like an in and out button on the timeline?
Well, not normally. Normally what you would do is you would just set your composition length to be however long you wanted your project to be.
Oh, right. That's what you did in the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, like for example, here, I'll show you an example to go back to mine. So if you remember, my flag video is only about 2 seconds long. Or actually, it looks like it's like 9 seconds long. That's the flag right there. It looks like my flag waves for about 9.5 seconds, but my audio goes for nearly 3 minutes, right? Now, if I want to make this really easy on myself, all I have to do is go under composition settings, right? What it does is it sets the duration of your movie to however long the longest piece is. And the longest piece is the audio, which is 3 minutes, right? Now watch what happens. If I change my settings of my movie so that instead of 3 minutes, it's 9.5 seconds, I'll put 9:29. So that would be 9 seconds and 29 frames. My movie, this thing that we see at the bottom, should compress down so that we only get 9.5 seconds of audio, and then we get the whole flag video, right? So right where this blue line is, all my audio, all my whole composition will shrink to that. But of course, it'll expand to fill the window. So let me show you. Okay, now, right now, you know, it just looks like it's a whole big presentation. But if you look carefully down here in the corner, you see that the whole presentation is only 9 seconds and a half, or 9 seconds and 29 frames. So now, you know, when I go to play it in here, whatever, now it's been doing some weird rendering thing where it doesn't play past this first few seconds. But it will play all 9.5 seconds of the flag video, and then it will loop back and do it again, right? So that's kind of a long way to answer your question, which is normally you just set the composition for as long as you want it to be.
Okay, because I didn't notice any, like you didn't cut the, like in Premiere, I would have cut the audio, you know, with the razor tool, you know, or something like that.
Right.
Or so that's why I was just wondering, but that makes sense if you just set it in the setting, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and of course, you know, we'll talk about audio, and we'll open up a separate program called Audition where we'll edit some audio. Inside of After Effects, you can change the volume of audio. You can make things fade in and fade out. But if you want to do things like chop up your audio and move pieces around, that actually works better in Audition, and then you import it back into After Effects.
Oh, okay.
Now, since you're a Premiere guy, Premiere and After Effects can work together. You can start a project in Premiere and then bring it over into After Effects and do some cool things to it, and then bring it back to Premiere, and we'll look at that as well.
Okay.
Okay. So, any other questions about this little demo? Okay, let me show you guys some resources that you can use. You need to start thinking about what project you're going to do that's going to be 30 seconds long, that's going to animate some text, and what other elements you're going to have to it. And then you need to write up a little, you know, paragraph about that and put it in your folder for Monday so we can discuss them. But here's some resources for you guys that will help you out when you're thinking about what you want to do. So for music, you can go to places like the freemusicarchive.org. That's where I got this little, you know, audio of the marching. Let me go ahead and reset this so you can see it. So this is the Free Music Archive, and you can search for things and get little bits of music. Let's see, another place where you can get audio is a place called Bensound. And you can buy this audio for commercial projects, but it's free to use for school projects. And here there's a bunch of different audio, and all you have to do is click on one of these play buttons to preview the audio. Right? And right here it tells you how long it is, and you just click the download button and you can use that in your project, right? For video, there's the VidEasy site, and I'm sure there are others, but this is one of the ones I'm familiar with. There's free, you can download free footage there. And once again, you know, this is footage that's free to use in non-commercial projects, right? Now for pictures, I have a lot of resources for you. There's a website called Pexels.com, and this is photos. There's also freeimages.com, and you can get a lot of cool images there. You know, like you can just type in something like flag, or I guess I should have typed in American flag. Well, there we go, American flag. You want to make sure that you're viewing just the free images, because these ones up at the top that say iStock photo on them, you're going to have to pay for those. But if you scroll down, then this is all the free stuff, right? And then here's a really great site I like a lot that does really good images, and they're free to use. It's called Unsplash. And here, let's type in American flag in this. Everything on here was shot by professional photographers. So the quality of the pictures on Unsplash tends to be higher than the quality on some of the other sites. So, you know, you have a variety of choices here for what you can use. Now, when it comes to vector graphics, if you want to do something like import a logo or something like that, one of my favorite sites is this one, Vecteezy. And you can just type, you know, whatever it is you want to bring in, and they'll give you some choices of things that you can download, right? Now, some of these sites have like what's called free and premium content. The free content you can just download, and the premium you need a subscription to get to that, right? So anyway, that's audio, video, and graphics that you can use. If you want to find a site that has different quotes on it, you can try this one called Brainy Quotes.
Question, what was your video website that you go to?
That one is called Videezy, VIDEEZY.com. And if you wanted to find a quote, because you're like, well, what am I going to animate? You could go in here and you could look for a quote from your favorite person. Let's look at Abraham Lincoln, and you see a whole page full of quotes, right? And then you can just pull whichever one you want and animate it. Now, like I said, you can use any kind of text you want. You can use song lyrics. Because this is a school project and it's only going to be 30 seconds, you're not infringing on anybody's copyright. You can write something original. You can use poetry. Whatever you want, to do. And if you want to make it a little longer than 30 seconds, that's fine too. That's just kind of the minimum that it needs to be. Okay. Other questions? Questions about this After Effects or about this project that I'm giving to you guys?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I have an idea, but it might take me a bit longer than usual. Can I start working on the project as soon as I start making the paragraph, like a little before Monday?
Yeah, of course. The odds are really good I'm going to approve your project unless it's, something excruciatingly offensive, right? Which seems unlikely.
Nah.
But so, yeah, if you have an idea and you want to go out and start getting your assets, which are things like your text, your images, your video, your audio, go ahead and grab it, start throwing it together, and then maybe on Monday you'll show us an example of what you're going to do instead of just a written outline, which is fine as well. You're just kind of jumping ahead and getting started.
All right. So continue?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, when will this be due?
Okay. So I don't have a due date for you yet, and the reason I don't is because I have to wait a little while so that everybody feels familiar enough with After Effects that they can complete this project, at least the first one. So it might be a week or two before you have an actual deadline for this. Now, what I'm giving you is mini deadlines as we go. So your first deadline is for Monday. You have to have at least an outline, a paragraph written where you describe what you're going to do for this project, right? If you want to start working on the project for Monday, more power to you, right? But I'm going to wait a week or two until I can see that everybody is at least capable of using After Effects and animating everything, and then I'm going to give you an actual deadline for this project. Make sense?
It makes sense, yeah.
I said, does that make sense?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Thank you, Kim, for translating.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now, the other thing I would like you guys to do is I would like you to go out and get that book that I showed you. And when you have some time, I'd like you to read the introduction of that and do the first chapter. Now, the first chapter is really easy, and it just teaches you how to use After Effects. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to give you about a chapter a week to do in this book. And every week, that chapter is going to teach you how to use After Effects. So like, if you go out and buy the book and you do the chapter this weekend, you're going to have some skills that'll help you do the project. And then if you do chapter 2 next week, you're going to up your skill level. So the more chapters you do, the better you're going to get, the more you can do the projects, right? So this class is both. It's you doing the chapters in the book as homework, and then it's me showing you, talking about the book, but also showing you demos in After Effects and showing you, explaining the projects that you're going to do as the creative side of this class, okay? So it's both those things. So like I said, just to reiterate, buy the book and do the first chapter, and also write a paragraph of what you want your first project to be, and we'll look at those next week. You don't have to have the chapter done by Monday, because some people are going to go out and order the book now and they won't even get it till Saturday or Sunday. So you know, you can have next week to work on chapter 1, but definitely get me that outline of the project by Monday. Okay, now today is not going to be a full-length class because it's the first one. The other thing I want you to do in your own time is on the website there's this link to an article that explains frame rates. And at your own leisure, I'd like you to click on that and just read a little bit of that article to understand why frame rates are all over the place. You know, why is there something called 29.94 frames per second, right? This will explain a little bit of that. Okay. Other questions from you guys, either about the class, the project, the program, the book, anything?
I think you did make it to a full-length class. Isn't it till 3?
Yep, actually, okay, there you go.
Yeah. So,
Well, then we're done. We are
Yeah.
done. Okay, so you guys have a great weekend, and email me if you have questions, and I will see you again on Monday for virtual class. Okay?
Thank you. It's good
Thank
seeing
you.
everybody.
All
Have
right.
a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Next week.
Everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Greg,
Yeah. Hi,
I
Sophia.
have a question real fast.
Yeah.
I know it's been a while, and I just probably need a refresher of
My
like,
box.
Okay.
Wasn't muted. Shit.
Sorry. Go ahead, Sophia.
I just wanted to ask if I could get a refresher of the assignments I didn't finish. Just like if you could shoot me an email or if you could tell me right now, that'd be like.
Well, let's see. Let's oh, I see.
Yeah.
How about this, Sophia? How about I put together a list of all the projects,
Yeah.
and you still have access to your folder, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you a list of all the projects, and then you go into your folder. You just, you know, take this list, check off what you've done, and then everything else is what you have left to do.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and then like I
And
said,
do
you're
you think I
welcome.
could do that?
You don't have to attend the class, but you're welcome to if you think that will help, like, you know, we're going over some of these techniques, or even if it just gets you to sit down and do the work, you know,
Yeah.
while the class is going on, then you're welcome
Yeah.
to attend. Okay.
Also, you think you could do that same thing because I'm in your animation class also?
Yeah, so you want a list of the animation stuff to do?
Yeah, that. I'm pretty sure all I had left was the storyboard and like the full animation.
I believe that's all you had left too, so that's it. Let's go with that
Okay, all
for
right.
that class. And then I'll get you the list of the After Effects projects.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, bye.
Anybody else
I
have
have one more.
questions? Yeah.
I was going to ask. So the
Well,
only
the only
thing
thing
to do
to
on
do
Monday is the paragraph, right?
Right.
So nothing with the book. Just read the book. That's it, right?
Read the book, do the first chapter. If you have it done by Monday, great. But like I said, some people won't even have their book. So I'm giving you a little longer on that.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, thank you. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Okay, this is a silly question.
Okay.
But I saw that you had Steam in your like hotbar, taskbar. Do you play games?
I do.
That's
In fact, I design games.
Ooh,
But
yeah,
right
because
now
I saw Unity.
I'm designing board games, not video games yet, but I want to make video games.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, you're a gamer, obviously.
Yeah.
What do you play?
I play a lot of games. Recently, I just been playing with my friends on a modded Minecraft server because I don't know why they like doing that, but also recently been playing Don't Starve together
Cool.
and
That sounds fun.
Overwatch and stuff, you know, all these random games. It just depends.
Well-
I just saw that and I was like, yo, that's amazing.
Gamer, right? Cool. Well, you know, I'd love to see some. You know, I don't know if you have screenshots or videos, or even if you just want to talk. You know, one of the things you could do, like if you want to do your presentation and talk about how After Effects is used in the game design industry, you could.
That'd be sick, actually.
Yeah. So that'd be cool because then I get to see some of what you like and what you know, what you're interested in.
Yeah, I already have like a perfect idea of what I'm gonna do for this project.
Okay, cool. That sounds
Yeah.
great.
can't wait to propose it.
Okay, awesome.
All right. You have a good day.
All right, thank you, Jacob. You too.
All right. See you next class.